Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Badfish, and welcome back to another episode of San Pedro. If you're new to my channel, San Pedro is my current ongoing city skyline series based off the American West Coast, and welcome to you. Today, guys, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be finally starting on the downtown proper of San Pedro. So in just a second here, you're going to see us start working on the road system by this little inlet. So if you've seen the map of San Pedro and what I'm utilizing, there is like three big inlets where the main city is going to be. So this is one of the minor inlets over on the side, and I wanted to build something out on this side. I wanted to build another waterfront. So I had done a waterfront on a small town up top on the map. So today I wanted to start the waterfront of the major city. This is more of a tourist area, so my idea is like this was a old school wharf back in like the 1800s. So, you know, like a fisherman's wharf, industrial wharf kind of deal. But now that they've, you know, made maybe a newer port on the other side, eventually we're going to build out like a big harbor port. My idea is that that port is going to be our main industrial one, and this one has been converted into more or less a tourist trap. So you're going to see me putting down a lot of hotels. You're going to see me putting down a lot of like hangout spots and commercial area and kind of high-end stuff, and it's going to be a fun time. So right now I'm placing down these big old wharfs here in the ferry pier. So I wanted the ferries to be able to run through here since we have used ferry travel on the other side of the map. But these big wharfs, those are going to kind of be the crown jewels of what we're doing here. So I'm going to wrap the whole pier all the way around them. We're going to do a lot of cool detailing on those sides for them, and I think they end up looking really good. So, you know, let me know what you think about them, you know, at the end of the video, but I think they do end up looking pretty good. And now we're putting in this giant casino over here and just finishing out our layout of the major focal points of what I wanted this to be built around. So I always like to place down my landmark buildings first and then go in and fill in with, you know, your filler as far as like any of the residential I'm going to do, or even some of the commercial. Like I'm still using specific commercial, but you know, they're kind of smaller. They're not catching your eye as much as these giant resorts that I'm putting down. And that big beach resort on the left there, that is the beach resort by Tomas. I saw Biffa's top 10 mods this week, and I saw that one, that asset, and I was like, gotta get that. It looks great. So pop that in there, and just finishing out some commercial and kind of doctoring it up a little bit to fill it up. And then now we're gonna add in just some like secondary roads, because I didn't want a lot of intersections to be hitting this kind of main road on the side here. So we're putting in an access road. And on that access road, we're going to put some more commercial and kind of do the typical layout of residential that I typically do with San Pedro. So you'll see that in a little bit. If you haven't seen it before, I give you a little snippet of it, and then we'll jump into you know, kind of a quick jump for that, because I didn't want to bore people with me just putting down residential buildings and plopping them down. If you don't know, for pretty much any building that you're going to see in San Pedro, I plop it. I don't use zoning. I like to have a little more control. So everything's plopped. So for better or worse, you know, for my mental state, what does that say about it? I don't know. But I plop a lot of buildings. So I'm not going to try to make you guys watch that. Otherwise, my videos would be hours long rather than, you know, 20, 30 minutes. So this is what I was talking about. I'm just putting down those kind of buildings and stretching it out with that Brooklyn style stuff. So we just jumped there, so I didn't make you watch all that. But now what we're going to do is I have this modular commercial pack. Quick disclaimer, I'm a dingus. I forgot to get the end caps of the pack, so I can't end them without having these huge, horrendous blank white walls, because I only have corners and middles. I work around that by putting down some ads, but that was my mistake. So if you see that, just know that there is end caps to that pack if you find it on the workshop. I just didn't download it for whatever reason, but we put in some ads and I think it looks all right. So for the most part, at this point, our buildings are down, and we're going to start jumping into some more detailing and more kind of nitty-gritty stuff. So I'm just putting those ads down, like I said, just to block up those big white walls. I actually kind of like the way the ads look juxtaposed to everything. So I think it looks pretty good. And then we're putting in this McDonald's. I kind of go over this in the live play, but this McDonald's is going to be like a tourist spot. It's green, it's unique. That seems like something America would do, have a McDonald's as a tourist spot. So I'm pretty sure there was like a diners, drive-ins, and dives about the fact that McDonald's were tourist spots. So we have a tourist McDonald's over there. And the last building here is just some apartments that I wanted to have kind of like an oceanfront view for. So these are like your nicer apartments in the town. So now we're going to start our detailing. So when I do downtown areas, I like to do a lot of seating areas, a lot of places for people to hang out and congregate. I mean, if you think about downtown areas and you think about sidewalks, they're never just blank. There's going to be benches, there's going to be parks around, there's going to be, you know, different planters with stuff going on. It's never just going to be blank concrete like it is, you know, if you just leave it vanilla. So I wanted to just put in some seating areas around, you know, like different congregation areas, so around the ferry port and around the wharf and all that good stuff. So just doing a little one right here by the ferry. And then over here in this kind of big commercial area, I wanted to continue the theme of having the tiles kind of spread around it. So I am going to make it kind of like a little plaza and have it stretch around the side over to the other side of stuff. So again, just using planters to delineate space. One great thing about planters, guys, if you haven't heard me say it already, they're great for when you don't know what to do. When you want to add detail, but you're like, I have no idea what to add there, just throw in a planter. It works almost every time. So, you know, there's definitely times it doesn't work, but almost every time it works. It works 100% of the time, 60% of the time, or whatever the quote is. So now I'm just finishing out that little space there, and we are going to then move on and go into this little corner here. I just put a little static parking lot. I love the parking lot roads mod, but sometimes you just don't have that kind of space. And sometimes if you do try to jam one into a space like this, it can get a little wonky and you can have cars clipping through stuff. So I just did my own little static parking lot using the car props that I have. I do this a lot in San Pedro as well. I always think they end up looking just fine. You know, they're not as realistic looking as the parking lot roads, but I still think they look pretty good. And now, just to, again, eat up some space, I am going to just chew up some of that concrete and go ahead and put in a fenced-in natural growth area. So I've been using a lot of planters in San Pedro, but as I've kind of grown in my city detailing and my city building, I've realized using like these cool natural growth areas is really nice as well. It's a little less tamed than just plopping down planters and putting palm trees in them, and it allows you to kind of use the natural growth motif that you might have outside of the city in the city, which I like as well. So that's what I'm doing here. So that's my usual kind of landscaping. If you've watched my channel, you've seen me do it 1,000 times. It's just those underbush and then some other stuff. And then some other stuff, I mean trees. So now I always tend to make one giant mistake, and putting these railings in was my giant mistake in this video. Not that it looks bad, but just that it was a pain. So you're kind of seeing the pain I'm going through, where I have to put them down and then plop them up and then put them down because they wouldn't snap to the pier. So that took me an hour and a half or so. So I cut most of that out because I didn't want to look at it again. It made me upset, and I didn't think it would be the greatest viewing material just watching me go up and down with these railings. But they're there now, so people will not fall into the ocean. And I know someone's going to be like, well, there's gaps there, so someone might still fall into the ocean. Well, you know what? How else do the children of San Pedro build character, if not for gaps in the railings? You gotta learn. So now I am going to go ahead and put in some different seating areas and like little restaurant areas around these wharfs. So my idea is like these wharfs used to be, you know, your big fishing areas, your big industrial fishing areas. They've been converted now, and now they are more or less like farmers markets or fisher markets or just tourist areas for people to go and get food and then hang out by the water. So that's why you're seeing me put in all these like kiosk and seating areas. So these are kind of big touristy commercial hubs now. That's the plan for these wharfs. I mean, you can see examples of that all throughout the world. Tons of old fishing wharfs from back in the day have been converted into more like touristy gentrified areas. So that's kind of the idea there. Now I'm just kind of doing some extra propping as far as like plants and hedges and stuff on the side of the wharves, just to give them a little more color and a little more pop and make the space a little more unique to look at. And again, just with some of these bare sides of the pier, just putting in more seating and more areas for people to hang out and chill. So I like doing like a mixture of benches and tables. I didn't want it to all just be one thing, and having the kiosk kind of split them up as well helps, I think, too. So we're about to finish up with the pier. We just got a couple more things I wanted to add on this side and then on the other side. And again, if you are noticing, nothing is snapping to this pier. So I was using Move It a lot. There was a lot of use of Move It in this one, and thank God for that mod, because otherwise 99% of things you do is impossible. So finishing up this area just by adding some planters and some growth here just to make it look a little more pretty. The trees weren't really growing towards the end, but I ended up fixing that out by just putting a ton of undergrowth. So you work through things, guys. I'm sure if you've played cities and you try to put stuff near the beach, you know what I'm talking about. I really need to just get the mod that allows trees to grow wherever, because it is just so frustrating when I'm like trying to put down a palm tree and it's like, here's a broomstick, and I'm like, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a palm tree. So just adding in the last few details here, guys. Oh, and one thing I actually did want to bring up during this video, just to let you guys know, I think I brought it up in a couple videos ago, but I did start an Instagram and a Twitter. So if you want to see just different views of the city, basically like my idea is to utilize those to give you guys kind of like a more full overview of what the city looks like, and give you some context to where things are and kind of more screenshots. So my Instagram and Twitter, I will put in the pinned comment below, so you guys can check that out and see, you know, some of the different views if you want to do that. Anyway, back to the video. What you just saw me do is just add like some little seating areas along the pier for people to look out with binoculars and stuff, and just finishing out some of this commercial area by adding in more planters and little kiosks on the actual roadside itself. And I'm trying to use different trees now. Where I'm in the downtown and it's kind of like the more wealthy affluent part, you know, they can water some trees. So I'm trying to utilize some different trees and stuff. And now we're going to go ahead and make our touristy McDonald's, our tourist destination McDonald's pop. So I'm putting in a little drive-through, just kind of painting that in so it looks a little more realistic with the lines and the arrows. And then we're going to add like some planters and some parking just to, again, make it look a little more important, a little more well taken care of, since this is supposed to be a tourist destination as well. And I think it ends up looking pretty good. I like it. I like it a lot. I think just adding those lines adds a lot. Putting in this planter for the parking lot, it just makes it seem like a more prominent area, especially where it's like this standalone building against all of these, you know, wall-to-wall things kind of lined up on the other side. I think it looks really nice just having that standalone piece as well. So just finishing up the parking lot, and then we're going to start putting in some palm trees. I tried to use some more palm trees on this area than I have been in the past few videos, just because now we're in like the downtown area of San Pedro proper. I really like having the palm trees be kind of a focal point, and especially where this is a California-based build, it makes sense. If you've ever been to California, there are so many palm trees, and like there's certain blocks of like places near LA that are just lined with palm trees. And honestly, if I did that many palm trees, I guarantee you I would get a comment being like, dude, why are you using so many palm trees? That doesn't look great. So I probably, if anything, use less than they do. So last couple of details here, again, just breaking up the concrete and adding some natural growth spaces. I'm just, again, doing that just to make it look a little more intriguing. I think it gets really boring when you just have these big gray blobs. And definitely when I try to detail an area, I don't want the gray blobs. I want to be able to look at it and kind of see unique things in each place I look. At least that's my goal with it. Although I am realizing that I might need to start just building out parts of the city without detail. You know, obviously like still using the same motifs and stuff, but not for videos, just to kind of build it out. Otherwise, I'm never going to finish San Pedro, because I'm going block by block, and it is a slog. But we have built some cool stuff, so I'm not mad about it. But I think just so I can try some other projects and get some other stuff up on the channel, I will start building out at least parts of the city just with some different stuff off camera, and then we can go over it in the live play sections or stuff like that. Let me know what you guys think, if you just want me to keep building block by block and keep San Pedro going forever. Except if you want me to do that, that's not going to happen because I have other ideas I want to try out. But we still got, a good amount of episodes to go. We're like 40 in right now, so we still got some time. We still got some time with the city, so don't worry. It's not like I'm ending San Pedro today. I think I'm just talking about what I think I should be doing just to speed up things a little bit. So this little park here, I ended up putting way too many trees down in the beginning and kind of rectified that and made it a little less aggressive. And I just wanted this to kind of be like a lead up to that big casino. So maybe this is like the gardens for that casino leading up to it, and kind of, gives it a little more of a view from the front. But I just thought it was also just a nice thing just to have a little garden, little park on the side here. And then I am going to go through and line a couple of the streets with palm trees using these little planters. I think that just looks nice. It adds, again, more to the vibe of the California feel and more to the waterfront beachy vibe. So I'm always about that. I'm always about getting some more detail in where you can. And again, same thing with this kind of like planter deal over here, just trying to add in some more pops of color, especially against this big black cube cinema building. And to finish out today's build, as always, we are just going to do some lighting and some more prop work as far as like street ads and sidewalk props and details. So I wanted to make sure that the pier lit up really nice and good for people, so when you look at it at night, you can actually see what's going on, and it looks like a proper nighttime destination as well, because my idea is this is 24/7, baby. People are going there, they're having a good time all the time. So now just putting in those ads, like I said, and in a minute here, I am just going to let the music play out, guys, because this is just about the end of the time lapse. So we are going to jump into a live play section in just a moment to kind of go through everything at a slower speed so you guys can get a little more sense of the build. But again, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to let that music play out, and I'll see you on the other side. Hey guys, welcome to the live play section of today's build. I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse as that ferry absolutely demolishes those passengers. I wanted to take you guys through and just show you a little bit more slowly some of the stuff we built here today. I'm really proud of this one. I know it's a little area, but I think there's a lot of detail packed in, so we'll start building out towards this a little bit more. But just going through what we built here today, first of all, this side isn't built out, obviously, but we have the pier wrapping around everything. I have this cool little like seating areas with binoculars kind of stretched through each part. So that continues on through. Then we of course have our little ferry terminal, which is getting tons of use, which is great. So we're getting a lot of people coming through here and using the ferry. I hope they start using the boardwalk a little bit more. They do have access to it, so we'll see if that starts happening soon. And then over here, kind of the crown gems of this build, I think, are these wharfs. These are awesome assets off the workshop. This is wharf 1. I think it's just wharf 1 off the workshop. That's the name of it. It's great. Took me forever to get these railings to work the way I wanted them to, but I cut most of that out of the time lapse, so you guys didn't have to suffer along with me. But we got these kiosks and different places to sit. So like my idea is that these wharfs are now maybe like fish markets or like farmers markets and things like that, and they're tourist areas, and people come here and they get all types of food, and they come sit out on the water and watch the ferries come in and eat their food and have a great time. So I really enjoy how these turned out. I think they're just beautiful assets in general. I love the colors on them. So those are great. Then we got our little bit of commercial area, these blank walls. I didn't get the end pieces because I'm a dingus. I only got the corners and the middles for this modular pack, so I never had the end pieces, so I just have these blank walls. But I put down these big ads on them, which I think tie it together nicely, so I'm not mad about it. So we have this little bit of modular commercial over here. Let's change the light just a little bit so we can see a little bit more. There we go. And then a bunch of hotels kind of just stretched through here. This is the beach resort asset by Tomas. This is awesome. It's a very pretty resort to just kind of have along the waterfront. I've had this cube cinema. It's like the Berlin Cube Cinema forever, obviously since Star Wars came out. So I've had it for a long time, but I just really like it as an asset. I think it's nice. It's like this cool movie theater out here. And then this big old Palms Casino, which looks really nice as well. Then we have this park over here just for people to kind of walk through. It's getting some pretty good use, which I'm happy about. So are these parking lots and stuff. And then just a little fun extra build here, kind of a stupid idea, but hey, this happens in America. So this is a green McDonald's. I'm not sure why it's green, if it's based off of something in a different country or what, but green McDonald's are very rare in the United States from everything I know. So I was thinking maybe this is a tourist destination, this green McDonald's. It's kind of in a prominent location by itself as well, and people go visit this green McDonald's in this nice little waterfront. And then just some more commercial and stuff kind of stretching back here as I spy a tree poking through. Die. Okay, good, we got the tree. So that is the build, guys. So just kind of stretching it back around back to the front. I really enjoyed it. I think we got some good details, like with these ads coming through and the decals, and I really enjoy this pier. I think it's much better looking than my first one. So definitely let me know what you guys think down below about the build. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Check out my channel for more videos like this. I do a ton of different City Skylines builds, and San Pedro is always heavily featured, so I think it's been a lot of fun. I'm liking the way the city's going. Let me know what you guys think down below. But now we're going to jump into some cinematic shots of today's build, guys. So I'm going to leave you with that. But again, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.